Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire. I just want to do like a quick little overview of my experience at PAX because I saw a lot, I did a lot, and I wanted to just kind of make a little memory here and share it with y'all. I was really glad I got to go to PAX this year because I had not been to any gaming conventions since PAX Unplugged 2019, so before the great COVID escapade. And so this is my first kind of feeling of return to form, and I really appreciated getting to go and getting to see so many people. It's just wonderful. Truly wonderful. So they did have a vaccination requirement and a mask requirement at the convention hall. And honestly, I'm really glad for it because I didn't get any con cred. And it's actually the first time I didn't get con cred after a PAX. And this is, not the first one I've been to. So actually, health-wise, that ended up being pretty good. I mean, it messes up all the pictures and everything, but it is what it is. And, I'm happy to go to cons under the circumstances that I can go to them. So I was really happy with it and had a great time. There were a whole lot of people there. People were really good about following protocols, actually, and I appreciated it. So I managed to run into a whole bunch of awesome people, and I just kind of wanted to record this video about that. So the first person I met up with was Jason Perez, and then he and I went to the conference center together, and he introduced me to Non-Breaking Space, who is the mysterious designer of Cross Bronx Expressway, and that's a game I'm really excited about this coming from GMT. I've done a podcast episode about it. So NB had promised me that if he saw me at a con, that we would actually get to meet in person, and I'd held that in my mind as a possibility for the future, but then it actually happened, and it was like the first cool thing and it was like the first thing that happened at PAX. I was super excited about it. Like, it set a great tone for the whole rest of the weekend, and in person, NB is very cool. So if you ever get to meet him, he is awesome, but even if you don't meet him, he's got a really good, cool looking game coming out that I'm genuinely excited to try. And speaking of Jason Perez, who's the first person I ran into, we met up at like the Panera across at the convention center. Jason was there demoing his basically rework of Puerto Rico called Puerto Rico 1897. And it basically plays just like the original Puerto Rico, but it is a retheme that is no longer colonialist. It doesn't have the same kind of uncomfortable weight that the previous version of Puerto Rico had. So it's all the fun of Puerto Rico minus the colonialism. And I thought that was a really cool proof of concept and a really neat thing to just see out there in the world. And of course, Jason was over the moon to show it to us. It should be available sometime around February of next year for those of you who want to pick it up. And I'm just really excited that it exists. And it was really great to get to see the art. And, there's still restrictions on what he could show us in terms of video and stuff. But getting to see Jason just showing his game to everybody and seeing that it looks so beautiful was just a really big delight for me. And I know it was a delight for Jason because dang. I also got to meet up with Taylor Schuss, who is the designer of Stonewall Uprising and co-designer of The Sacred Band with Joe Schmidt, and both of these games are games about queer history. Stonewall Uprising is a deck builder that is set in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and covers aspects of queer history, and I'm actually going to be showing that game off on this channel soon. I have a prototype of it. I'm really excited. And I also got an early look at The Sacred Band, which is about pairs of male warriors who were also lovers, who were from Thebes, and who were a terrifying band of fighters until Alexander the Great came along. But until then, they were basically the hottest thing in town. So that game is also coming along in ways that look super interesting. And Taylor is just a really delightful person. I enjoyed his game designs, but I also just really enjoyed spending time with him. And it was really cool to turn somebody who's been a podcast guest a couple times into a full-on friend, because we got to actually spend time together. It was awesome. Later in that first afternoon, this is all Friday. It's the biggest Friday I've had in a long time. I met up with Alyssa from Heavy Cardboard and Arwen from Cardboard Time, and we did not play games. Instead, we had a cheese party, and this was something that we joked about on Twitter previously, and we just talked about wanting cheese, and I think that is a very valuable way to spend your time eating cheese. So we went to the cheese market in the Ready Terminal Market. There's a little cheese stand, and we each picked out some different exciting cheeses and just went back to the hotel lobby that somebody's staying at, and we just ate all the cheese. It was great, frankly. We had this Wensleydale cheese that was honey and lemon curd, and I've never tasted anything that interesting and delicious, and I really need to find that Wensleydale again. Where is my soulmate? We had a sharp cheddar that was unbelievable. this is the kind of stuff that you can't just plan for at a con, even though we did plan to meet up and have some cheese. It's just, it's one of those really neat moments where you meet some really cool people. Again, you bond over food, and, maybe when PAXU puts the con brochure up, that's not exactly what they're intending, right? But like, we as the guests make a little magic of our own on the side, and I felt like the cheese party was very much that. I hope we do it again next year because it was delicious. The company was great. Good time all around. That night, I went to a restaurant called Cuba Libre, how on point, with a couple of professors, one of whom was John Truitt from Central Michigan University, and the other was Paul Wright, who I have had on my podcast. So I got to go talk about academia and games over really delicious food at a place called Cuba Libre. Like, I really don't know how it gets better than that, except that it did get better than that, because after that, I went to an axe throwing party that was hosted by Backer Kit and Frosthaven. So I'd never thrown an axe before, but I got to do that, so that was really cool, and there were a bunch of other gamers there, all learning how to throw an axe. So, I mean, that's a novel experience. I would 100% do that again. It's really satisfying to, throw an axe, hear that, thunk as it goes into the wall, and then walk down the lane and, pull it out. Just a really viscerally pleasing experience all around. And then after that, I went to the usual, party in a hotel lobby where everybody hangs out, plays games late into the night. And I got to play Bullet, and I got to play Super Skill Pinball with Mike Kelly from the One Stop Co-op Shop. Alyssa came by. I played some with Jason Perez from Shelf Story / One Stop. And it was just really so good to see everyone. So then I was totally out of juice. So I went back and slept a little bit on Friday night, but then of course on Saturday I got up and just did everything all over again. So that next day I also did stuff that just really brought my heart joy. So I spent forever, it was great, talking to Cole Worley about Whirly Gig stuff and historical gaming, and it's just really great to talk to Cole. He's a really thoughtful person. He approaches games in a way that I really appreciate, and I can't talk about some things that he has yet to announce, but what he had to say about the future of his company, Whirly Gig, was great. And everything at Leader looked great too, but when Cole and I get together, the conversation tends to drift historical. And so that's mostly what we talked about. And it was really, really fun to just nerd out with him in person. We've nerded out together several times in the past, but, as the years go on and we know each other better, there's more to talk about. And I think that that's one of the things that makes cons really special the more you go. My first con that I ever went to was Dice Tower Con, I think 2018. It took me a while to start going to cons. And I was alone. I didn't have any friends yet. And it was really a lonely and kind of scary experience. It was isolating. And I felt very upset and sad, that first time. I went back to my hotel room and just cried, why did I come here? And then, soon enough, I had, found people to play games with me. The people from This Game Is Broken had, adopted me temporarily, and it helped me get on my feet, which I really will forever be grateful to that crew for that. So, it gets better if it's your first con. So, now the more cons I go to, the more people I know, the more people I've had good experiences with. And so I get to have better conversations and more fun every single time because my circle of friends has gotten stronger and deeper and just better with the years. And so I'm really looking forward to PAX next year because now that we're going to cons again, I did not realize how much I needed that. So I did some more things that kind of filled my cup throughout the day. That afternoon, on that Saturday, I demoed a scenario from Final Girl Season 2, and again, I did it alone together with Mike Kelly. That was actually the first time we ever demoed Final Girl. We played together, and we ended up just yelling and having a great time and being ridiculous. And of course, it happened all over again. We played the Evomorph scenario, and yeah, we ended up sacrificing our cat to lure the alien to the airlock, and then blasted him into space. So, it was pretty awesome. It was a pretty awesome game, other than the loss of the cat. So, Final Girl Season 2 is looking super promising. It was really good to catch up with AJ and Evan, and, that's all just looking great, and it was really fun to get to play it, and also to play it specifically with Mike, because we've had so much fun doing that together in the past. It was just delightful. And then for dinner that night, I went out with the entire planet. It was great. There were so many people at this dinner. So it was basically me and a bunch of people that I wanted to talk to all going to a noodle place. We had to make our way across the street through a Christmas parade And then, Candace Harris, Jason Perez, Mike Kelly, Jess and Edward from Heavy Cardboard, John Truitt from Central Michigan University, Luis Aguas Vivas, who is like a game journalist, Cole Worley. We were all just there, and having Taylor Schuss came, we were just having a really, really good time together. And it just felt wonderful to be in such good company with such wonderful people. And, if only I could do it more often. It was really something special to me. And then, of course, I had to play games all that night because I went home early Sunday morning, got to recover and go back to school if you're a teacher. So I had to pack everything into those just 2 days that I had. So that night I played games with two groups of people. First, I played a couple rounds of I'm the Boss with Cole Worley, Candace Harris, Kyle from Leader Games, and with Tom and Matt from Shut Up and Sit Down. And we were playing this game from like the 90s. It's an old game, and basically you go around a board and you try to cut deals, but you have to actually negotiate this with other people who have investor cards so they can contribute to the deal, or they can make your investor go on vacation, they can cancel things that you're doing, they can steal from you. So it turns into this really like crazy game. And of course the best card is one where you take over the whole deal and you lay it down and you go, I'm the boss. Naturally, Tom from Shut Up and Sit Down turned out to be pretty vicious, threatening to, quote, kill your boy if somebody did not go into a deal with him. And, there were laughs all around. It was just a really, really good time. It was so funny. Tom took the first game. I actually took the second one, Stealth. I was really proud of myself because as a solo gamer, I really suck at negotiating and auctioning and bidding. Like, that's normally not my thing. But I'm the Boss was very funny, and I would absolutely play it again just for pure nostalgic value now. And then after that, I went back to the hotel suite where everybody plays games at night, and I hung out with Mike Kelly, Jeremy Howard, and just the one-stop co-op shop crew in general. We played Heat, which was a racing game. I didn't like it very much, but I never like racing games that much, so, don't take my word for that, truly. Everybody else seemed to be having a really good time. And we also played Set a Watch, which was quite fun. And then, sadly, it was time for me to go back, catch a nap, and then get up early the next morning and fly home. But I really love PAX Unplugged. I saw amazing things. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. And if you get a chance to go, you should. And if you see people who make videos that you like, definitely say hi to them, because when people recognized me and said hi to me, it felt great, and I really appreciated it. So that was my PAX Unplugged experience. I'll definitely be bringing some of the things I picked up and saw to my channel. I ended up bringing home review copies of Paperback Adventures and Block by Block, which I'm also excited to be showing off in the near future. And generally, it was a very successful con for me. So hopefully I'll be able to take you on more PAX adventures next year. I really should have filmed more, but I didn't really enjoy filming people through the masks, frankly, and I was just living hard for those couple days. I'll plan better next year. At least that's what I'm telling myself and you this time. So, thank you so much for watching. If you're thinking about going to a con, I highly recommend it. If you go to one that I'm at, please say hi. And most of all, happy gaming.